To outsiders, luxury fashion, or high fashion, is a curious industry where consumers seem to irrationally shell out hundreds or thousands of dollars for simple sneakers, handbags, wallets, hats, or t-shirts. But take a step inside, and you'll find the world of high fashion is really more like Game of Thrones, with Italian, English, and French houses all duking it out to be the king. For the houses that do get to sit on the throne, they don't last for very long. Luxury brands like Versace, Tony Birch, and Coach once dominated in the 2000s. But fast forward to the 2020s, and today's top players are totally different. They're Gucci, Louis Vuitton, and YSL. And competition today has also heated up with surging smaller brands like Moncler, whose puffer jackets have taken over TikTok, and Balenciaga, whose sneakers have become a crowd cult favorite, along with Louis Vuitton's timeless red-bottom stilettos. The world of high fashion appears fragmented with so many different brands, but in reality it's an industry run by oligopolies. Gucci, YSL, Louis Vuitton, and Balenciaga are not independent brands anymore. They've all been acquired by conglomerates and converted into subsidiaries. Let's say you go out and you buy a pair of Alexander McQueen's $600 sneakers, then pick up a $4,000 Gucci bomber jacket to go with your new $2,500 YSL handbag. In this example, even though you've bought 3 items from 3 different brands, your money is actually going to the exact same company. The biggest conglomerate in the industry is LVMH, who owns Dior, Fendi, Givenchy, Marc Jacobs, and Louis Vuitton. The second biggest conglomerate in the industry is Kering, who owns Balenciaga, Bottega Veneta, Gucci, Alexander McQueen, and YSL. LVMH is a clear leader with annual earnings of 54 billion euros, over 4 times the amount of Kering's annual revenue. While Kering seems like in a far-off second place as their annual revenue is only 13 billion euros, Kering is challenging the throne in a different way. Kering's portfolio is spearheaded by blue-chip fashion brands like Gucci, YSL, and Balenciaga. These 3 brands alone today enjoy exceptional popularity amongst millennials. When people are trying to flex or thinking about flexing, they're usually thinking of the red and green Gucci flip-flops, the silver-laced YSL purses, or Balenciaga sneakers. If you look at the operating strategy of Gucci or Louis Vuitton, you'll find that these brands operate very similarly. They go for scale by branding, licensing, and selling as many products as possible, from watches, perfumes, flip-flops, sneakers, hats, belts, eyeglasses, children's clothing, skateboards, furniture, and even play cards. They add their colorways and patterns and design on it and mark it up to hundreds or thousands of dollars. In addition, these brands spend hundreds of millions of euros every year on celebrity endorsements, sponsorships, advertising, and product placement. They boast white glove high-end stores that make consumers feel special when they walk in, and they also sell wholesale to department stores and operate outlets to sell discounted items to those consumers that want the status and brand but don't want to pay the full price. When it comes to business results, Gucci leads the way. Their aggressive advertising, successful branding, and almost blitzkrieg strategy has enabled them to grow like a rocket ship, earning from 4.3 billion euros to a record 9.6 billion euros in just 3 years. That's a growth of over 35% or 2 billion euros every year. Even in a down year with the pandemic, the company grossed 7.4 billion euros in 2020. Gucci operates nearly 500 stores worldwide. With the most physical store of any high fashion brand, Gucci's strong offline presence and massive product mix make retail its strongest arm. Over 85% of Gucci's sales come from retail in the past 5 years. And to maintain the brand's popularity with millennials, Gucci spends a reported 12% of its revenue, or 1.2 billion euros every year on advertising across social media, print, and television. And this approach is paying off for Gucci, as over 50% of their customers today are 35 years old or younger. Now, Gucci takes a fast-paced and aggressive approach when it comes to R&D. Whether you're the conservative connoisseur who wants only those traditional timeless looks that have never changed for decades, or you're the modern shopper who's on a budget and you want the brand, but you also want it styled in a contemporary way that you would actually wear and get use out of, there's something for you at Gucci, no matter what kind of person you are. Gucci frequently rotates and updates its products and marketing to capitalize on trends. And Gucci reportedly rotates half of its product mix on an annual basis, maintaining 50% of its bestsellers to be available to be purchased at any time, but then releasing new or refreshed products as their other 50%. This strategy has really paid off, with new products accounting for 30% of Gucci's total business every year. With an eye-opening 40% operating margin, Gucci is clearly at the top of the game. If we look at other examples, let's take a look at YSL. YSL is a French brand best known for its black leather bags and wallets that retail in the $1,000 to $2,000 range. It's also really well known for its iconic silver emblem that it brands onto all of its items. Unlike Gucci though, YSL is a traditionalist company. They price themselves at the mid-range and they operate very conservatively and carefully. It's very rare for YSL to make changes to their core product mix outside of a few seasonal additions. And so while YSL does do wholesale to department stores, the company doesn't operate outlet malls or participate in licensing at the same scale as Gucci. For instance, there are only 200 YSL stores worldwide, and as a result, YSL has grown really slowly, from 1.5 billion euros to just 2.1 billion euros in 3 years. That's a growth rate of 12% or 200 million euros every year. While the company has tried to win over millennials by appointing K-pop star Rose as its newest brand ambassador, YSL still has a difficult time balancing its tradition with the fast modernization that millennials are looking for. And YSL's operating margin today stands at around 25%. If we look at the smaller surging players like Moncler, we see that the apples just don't fall too far from the tree in this industry. Moncler is best known for its shiny $1,000 puffer down jackets, and the company has grown its revenue at a similar pace of around additional 200 million euros every year. Moncler has grown from 1.2 billion euros to 1.6 billion euros in the span of 2 years. But it also has an identical footprint to YSL, as they only have roughly 250 stores worldwide. And as a newer independent brand that isn't backed by a conglomerate, Moncler also has a much smaller war chest, and they only spend about 6% of its revenue on marketing every year. Moncler's operating margin is also pretty consistent with YSL's, hovering at around 27 and 28%. Now, what if I told you that there was a high fashion brand that's more lucrative and more successful than Gucci, YSL, and Moncler? A fashion brand whose products are so in demand that they're never available, never sold online, or even displayed publicly in their stores. A brand who sells its products to a carefully curated list of only its highest spending customers, takes no pre-orders, has no waiting lists, refuses to expand inventory or scale its production in a way where everyone can buy those items. A brand whose products are so elite and elusive that they actually appreciate thousands of dollars over time and can be resold for profit. A brand that never allows returns, refunds, or exchanges after purchase. And a brand who has remained independent, manufactures its products entirely by hand, spends the least amount of money on marketing, and yet still grosses very close to what Gucci makes every year. That brand is Hermès, and they are the current king in high fashion. Hermès operates their business with a playbook that no other brand can even come close to emulating. Hermès has quietly grown, going from 5.5 billion euros to 6.8 billion euros in just 3 years. Their growth rate has doubled in the same time frame, going from 7% to 15% year over year. Hermès has a moderately sized retail footprint with 300 stores worldwide. But if Gucci has tripled the growth rate and higher revenue, what makes Hermès the king? Hermès to this day remains independent, and the company has been free of the M&A and Game of Thrones that has dominated the industry in the past decades. Hermès is best known for its leather handbags. The company takes what it calls an independent craftsman model to manufacturing. 80% of all Hermès products to this day are manufactured by hand exclusively in France, where the company owns and operates 44 factories. In today's day and age, businesses ruthlessly focus on improving speed, technology, efficiency, scale, and automation. It's all about lowering costs, increasing production, selling faster, and involving as few humans as possible. You generally want to take the complexity of manufacturing, break it down into single steps, avoid single points of failure, and follow the assembly line production. The funny thing is Hermès doesn't do any of these things. Each Hermès bag to this day is handmade by a single craftsman in France from beginning to end. Before a craftsman can begin working on a bag, a craftsman has to be formally trained for years at a vocational school. They must have graduated from one of Hermès' in-house tanning schools and undergo 18 months of direct mentorship from a master trainer. The concept of an assembly line simply doesn't exist at Hermès. Each handbag is cut from hides and entirely hand-stitched with needle and thread by the same individual craftsman from beginning to end. Depending on the intricacy of the design, a single craftsman can take anywhere between 25 to 48 work hours to create a single Hermès bag. A craftsman makes at most 2 to 4 Hermès bags every week. So instead of asking its craftsmen to just simply work faster or introducing machinery to reduce the manual labor, Hermès takes the extraordinary viewpoint in today's society that less is more. Hermès employs about 5,600 craftsmen across its 22 leather factories in France to make its leather bags. This handmade craftsmanship naturally demands a high premium. Hermès is the highest priced of any high fashion brand, with their leather bags retailing from the tens to hundreds of thousands of dollars. But here's the magic. Hermès bags are not just simply expensive, they're also elusive. They're never shown online, never sold online, never available publicly in stores, never on display, and only available in private closed doors to an exclusive set of clientele. If you want to buy or even see for yourself an Hermès, Birkin, Kelly, or Constance handbag, no matter what style, size, color, or design, you have to earn that opportunity with Hermès. Because supply is limited, handmade production is slow, and the quality is high, Hermès allocates their few bags based on customer loyalty. To buy a bag from Hermès, you need to have a relationship with your local store. You have to be regular and show loyalty by regularly buying Hermes products that aren't those bags, whether those are their shoes, scarves, perfumes, jewelry, furniture, or watches. At some point, once you've proven your loyalty to Hermes by showing that you've spent a high amount of money, you will be then offered that rare chance to purchase a bag. A store will serendipitously notify you and then take you to a secret room in the back of the store where they'll present you with the bags that are available. In these situations, you're presented with anywhere from 1 to 3 bags, and the bag that you're presented with may not be the size, color, or style that you want. While you can choose to decline the bag when you're offered this valuable opportunity, the reality is if you decline the bag, you run the risk of losing your loyalty points and being seen as unworthy, and you might not be given the opportunity to buy a bag again. So Hermes' sales system basically pressures you to buy the bag that's offered to you in private, no matter the price, even if it's not the bag that you want. This means that you have to spend thousands of dollars on buying Hermes products that you might not really want, for the hope that you eventually get the opportunity to get the bag that you do want. And so what you buy and how much you spend at Hermes will unofficially influence how fast you're given the opportunity to buy a bag. This is a totally irrational way of selling, but it works for Hermes. To be such an exclusive brand that you can get people to spend thousands of dollars endlessly buying things that they don't want in the hopes of one day being given the chance to buy the thing that they do want is totally unprecedented. Hermes spends only 4% of its revenue on marketing and advertising, and the brand is on track to clear 7 billion euros in 2021. If you look at Gucci, on the other hand, Gucci has to spend 3 times that amount of money on advertising and budget every year to sustain its popularity. Given the constrained supply, slow production, and hot demand for Hermes, the company's bags carry value even post-purchase. Since so many people are unwilling or unable to spend and become that loyal customer that Hermes requires, that demand naturally gets routed to the secondary market, where Hermes handbags are constantly resold. It's reported that Hermes bags appreciate on average 14.2%, which is a higher rate of return than the S&P 500 and gold. This is why it's Hermes and not Gucci that sits on the throne today as the quiet king of high fashion. While Hermes is nowhere as loud in its marketing as Gucci, and its top line might not be as impressively high, the reality is Hermes has a level of appeal and exclusivity that no other brand will ever be able to replicate.